Hey. Get the microphone in the right place. Hello. Welcome to a new live stream. My name's John. Skippy Limcool. Yeah. So we're playing a new library. This is Retrosphere 2, exclusively for Unify. Everything you're hearing is just Unify by itself. There's no additional processing on the channel, you can see. And it's just like that. Hey, there's the notice for the live stream. So welcome. I hope you all are doing well. Let me see here. Gotta make sure I have my string, my umbilical cord for my in-ear monitors from 64 Audio, whom I love very much. It's a little short, a little close, but it's okay. So yeah, so we've got the live stream. There you go. Ken Kisaka, Eric is here. Cool. Welcome. So this is kind of a fun live stream I have planned. We're going to look at Retrosphere 2, of course, and talk about that. There is a new synthesizer from Cherry Audio called Quadra. So we will be looking at it. It is a nice retro 4-part vintage synth. So it kind of ties in with the theme we're going for here. Cherryaudio.com. It just came out. It's really, really nice. And then this crazy website, I don't know what they're thinking. They're nuts. But this website, Plug and Groove, they've got everything at 51% off. What the? That's more than they've ever offered off on discount ever before. I don't understand why they're doing that. But yes, 51% off. Unify is $69. If you don't have Unify, here's an opportunity to save some money and grab Unify. And every library, Planet Pluck is $39 instead of $49. It's not $25 or $24. But everything else at the website is at a discounted price. I updated through here. I did a lot of changes to get everything so you can see what libraries are with Unify patches. There's not many that don't have Unify patches. So we'll be going through in the coming couple months to add to the list those that are not unified. But I thought it might be fun to go through all of these libraries and just briefly talk about them, what they are, what their focus is, for Omnisphere, for Contact, the ones for Unify. All the ones that have Unify patches we'll take a look at and briefly mention. Now the Razer ones, I'm working to get those to Razer. They're in my list. I should actually take them out of my list. Let's see if I... Don't worry about it. Well, actually, if I go over here and say Plug and Goo libraries and look at the list and go here to Razer and say, no, they're not unified yet. I want to save it. Plug and Goo libraries, save, replace. There. They're coming, but they're not done yet. Razer's a little tricky, and I want to make sure that everything is working with Big Sur OS X. I'm not totally positive if that's happening. So anyway, it's crazy sale time. Yes, Friday finally came, and I started my sale on Friday, just like promised, and it will go till Monday. So the 51% off everything at the website is only until Monday night at midnight. After that, it's off. And I'll do one more sale at the end of the year, but it will not be this deep of a cut. This is the deepest cut we do. So if you want to get new libraries and beef up your inspiration for the coming year, it's also great tax write-offs. If you do anything that makes a little bit of money with your music, you can buy libraries and software and put it onto your taxes as a write-off. So you don't have to pay taxes on that money. So that's a cool benefit for if you do something with music, and even if it's making a little bit of money with the local school, or some project that you do. If you earn a little money, that means you do that as a business. So then you can use that as a tax write-off. So do it if you don't. Get involved somehow, you know? And yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the USA, to everybody else in America. Just happy, that was happy Thursday. So anyway, so to start with, this library came out so special. Taylor Harris, who said, welcome everyone. He worked on this library, and if you go Harris, you will, and then I just got to go to Retrosphere 2 here, Retrosphere 2. All these patches Taylor did, the ones with the TH, and there's some very nice. Some I kind of co-produced with him. Just to shape envelopes and tweak things a little bit. But some of them are him all by himself, so I'm really proud of him for doing the patches he did. Also, Saif did these patches, and he is just an incredible programmer. He lives in Baghdad. He's, I should get the link that he gave me so that you can see all of his libraries. He has libraries, they're on sale right now too. I like to promote everybody. I'm not one of these that doesn't want to promote people that do awesome things. So this is the link for Saif's libraries for, oh my gosh, what does he have? Look at this. He's got libraries for Tau, they're free. For FL Studio, he's done things, Reveal Sound, Spire. Quite a few libraries he has done for Spire. I think he was even involved in the factory voicing for Spire. Great patches. If you have Spire and you do dance music, you should know about that. So please click the links, check them out. But some of his retro patches for this library. Super, super, super cool. Purple Vision. Isn't that nice? Tokyo Nights. Let's play an A minor. And then the way Unify works, all you have to do is go up here to a BPM drum patch, and there's a ton of them. There's over 60 retro BPM. You can see that there's actually two kits. There's the LM1. So if we say right click and add this to a new Unify layer, we have a Lin LM1. And there's retro. And retro is, let's see, that's the, what did I load? I loaded Moody Blues. So let's go to retro. There's the retro version of Moody Blues. So we can say right click, load this into Unify. I'm gonna click the little red dot on the left to mute the LM1. So now we hear retro. You know, there's so many albums, Thomas Dolby, so many, the Thompson twins, they all loved Simmons. That kind of sound, it just immediately takes you back there. Put them together, turn off, let it be the LM1 and the Simmons drums. And then go up here to like a BPM bass patch, like disco bassliner, load that into Unify. And let's stop the bass line here, and then let's stop the synth by right click, right click, right click. We're gonna change the zone of 4 different patches at the same time by right clicking on the low note and then hit C on the keyboard. And now they don't play below that, so I have a bass. Now you're ready to start songwriting. So it's that easy to work with this library, and it sounds great. Let's add another bass line to this, like Night Rider. And And just for fun, let's go to Cloud City. Oh my gosh, where is it at? Here's Cloud. Oh, I probably got to go to the exclusives. These are Unify exclusives. And say Cloud City, and let's go to a BPM drum group that's using a different, like more of a hip hop kind of a kit. And say Simple Street, load that. And now, and let's add a BPM bell from Cloud City, because all these libraries work so well together. So let's say Dancing Flames, add that to a new Unify layer, and let's have right click on the low note and then hit C, so it's also limited. And the bass line, I don't want it to come up this high, so let's go to Night Rider and say B for the top note, and and there's something cool I should point out. Inside of the Night Rider bassline, if you open this up, and if you go to the blue ARP, blue ARP is kind of like DX. It saves all the presets. This has all of these presets Saif made that are super, super cool bassline preset. Go baseline for all these. So these are all really, really cool. Hey, Frontier, welcome. And so we could combine that into the groove. And then maybe let's go over here to the Guru sampler that's playing this sound and change the waveform. Let's do this. Let's go save this. I'm gonna give this to you guys. Let's go user library. We'll call this BPM split. I can spell, I promise it's not S, it's a BPM. Let's call it Shanghai. Shanghai. Retro strut. It's a retro strut. And we'll call it BPM synth. And Saif Samir and John Limcool. Save as. Save to, we'll save it to the desktop. And I'll put this into our Dropbox and give you a link in 10 seconds here. So let's see here. Get a little strut going on. Now, let me see. I got to think for a second where I'm going to put this. I put this into the freebies folder. There we go. Boom. And I'm going to send out a mailer before the end of the year as a Christmas present. And I will put links to all of these freebies that I've made in the live streams. I've had people say, are you going to, the new blue ARP? Yes, new. Actually, we're going to go newer than new. We will be including in Unify 1.7 that comes out in December, it will include, I believe we're up to 2.3.8 of Blue ARP. And we have got it all set so that it will be included. So I'm working with 2.3.1 because when I did this library, I wanted to make sure it would work and not use some of the new features that are inside of 2.3.8. It has some cool new abilities. It's crazy. Each step can be a different MIDI channel. So we can use it to do wave sequencing kind of things in Unify really easily. Really, really cool stuff. So yes, we'll be working with the new version. Oh, good. Wrench is there saying thank you to Taylor. Taylor is our tech support guru here. If you guys have questions, unifysupport@pluginguru.com, and Taylor will help you out. And I see Shane is here. He was here at some point. I see. Hey, Sonny. Good to see you all. Okay, well, welcome. So, that's a free patch. Now, you need to own Retrosphere 2 and Cloud City. If you own those two patches, then you can have fun with Shanghai Retro Strut. Now, other things that are included, this is a patch library. It has 236 patch, actually 235. I made an accidental boo-boo. There's a duplicate. There's a lot of these samples come from my Waldorf Pulse and Micro Q that are over here. Let's see if I go over like this and go just webcam. Here, look over here. Oh, I lost my connection because that's not too solid. See over here, the yellow is my Micro Q. There it is. And then this is my Pulse. Two very, very, very cool retro synths that I have had since they came out, and love them very much. Hello. Okay, zoom out. Let's see. Zoom in. There we go. So you don't see. I have the top-down camera right here for, as well as this camera. So. Let's go back to this. So those two synths, I sampled and included some. I actually have another library coming probably January, February, that has a whole lot more from them. Nice. Hello, musician man, 1982. That's the year I graduated high school. That's a good year. So there's a whole bunch of retro basses. The retro vibe is thick with this library. Really nice bells. So there's that. The BPM stuff really takes off. There's both bass line and drum. And if you don't want the drums, all you have to do is go to the LM kit and turn off the When I release, I'm going to be doing an update to this library in December. And I will probably save this updated like this. So when you call it up, and the bass line should probably be right here. So option, click save for a quick save, and it will save it for me because I'm working still with the original patches so I can update them as I go. Anyway, there's other BPM. I'll be making more. There'll probably be at least 20 BPM basses when this comes out in December. These are really fun. Go to the LM1. Let's go to Auto Car and add this drum groove. And there's another groove here hidden. I like the one, actually, this is one of those, if we go bass head snapper, BPM bass head snapper. If you notice, I had a drum groove hidden. So all I needed to do, just click these little X's on the dots. And off you go grooving away. I think I'll get a groove for Night Rider too. I hadn't done one yet. Yeah. And then you can go over here to the synth stuff and you can add, let's say like Counting Miracles, and load this. It's gonna get really big really quick. So let's right click on all the first parts and say stop at B. This stops at C, and turn it down because it's very loud. And oh, and I gotta tell Blue Arp to only watch this range. Some patches like this, I have a single Blue Arp talking to multiple layers. So you need to tell its keyboard range to be limited. And the advantage of this is really cool. If you've ever tried to do arpeggiated things with Omnisphere, and you come to a point where you've got it transposing up in pitch and you play close to the top of the split point, if you have a split, it won't play because it can't play those other sounds. And if it does it, it plays the wrong sound. With this, Blue Arp is talking independently because of this assignment just to these layers. So I can, it's using the whole keyboard and still playing bass. And the right hand is doing its own thing. So that's one of the cool advantages with being this flexible with layers, is that we can have arpeggiated patterns that play above the split point, like the split point. Like the highest note is, but the arpeggiated pattern, it's going 2 octaves, 3 octaves up. Off you go. So there's things like that. These BPM splits that are put together with everything you need are really fun. Blinded Me is an homage to one of my favorite artists, Thomas Dolby. It's not the same chords, not the same sounds close. Science! Right? Committed to the 80s. These are all really fun. I think this is one from Saif. Get that exercise class going. Really cool. He did some really cool tricks. If you study his drum groove here, he's using Unify layers, and then inside some of these, there's a sample delay right here on the snare. Dragonfly Hall used here. Some of his other grooves, maybe, he's using stereo sample delay to delay the stereo imaging of certain parts. It's really, really cool. Yeah, sample delay. See the sample delay being used in different parts. One thing with this library, there's some amazing synth brass. Some of the samples that I created and that we got from someone who, I should point out, I'll make an announcement here. Retrosphere Volume 1 for Omnisphere has just been released in Unify version. And both that library and roughly half of the samples in here are from a customer, a friend, an associate in Germany called Kurt Strohmeyer is his name. And thank you, Kurt, wherever you are, for the samples. I'm licensing them from him, so he's being paid for his contribution, which is great. Just listen to that. It just sounds so nice. Let me kill my keyboard noise. My Korg keyboard died. My white, it won't power up. The power supply went off. Sad day. So I have to use a Native Instruments, and they have a really noisy key bed. So let me mute that. Sounds so good. I mean, and you might poo-poo BPM split type patches. It is kind of an auto. You play one note, it does something. But what happens is these are test grounds for me and for Saif in some cases for some of the stuff he did to test to make sure that the sound work. And in the case with a lot of these, if you just play a note, it's not doing everything for you. You still have to. The bass line just sits there. If you wanted to dance around and stuff, then you have to play the parts to do it. So, excuse me, but right, so let's clarify something really quick. There's two Retrosphere libraries. Retrosphere, let's do this, we'll call up all libraries, so it's gonna be a mess for a second, but Retrosphere Volume 1 is available for Omnisphere. And then there are patches available for Unify so that you can play these patches directly from Unify just by calling it up. So I can call this up by just clicking on it. It will load Omnisphere. It will load up the samples in Omnisphere, which means you need to install this library. Oh, these are effects and stuff like that. So if you go to the bells, now you can go to Retrosphere Volume 2, which is found down here. And I could go to the bells and I could say, load this into Unify. And now I'm using layer 1, which is a Retrosphere Volume 1 patch right here. And then Retrosphere Volume 2 patch here. But I couldn't make this library for Omnisphere because some of the maps in Retrosphere Volume 2 use far more than 8 samples. And there's a couple reasons. There's sample number. When you're using 15 samples or something like that to make a sample map, even in Omnisphere, if I was to do my, like the Mega Magic pads trick, where I used up all 8 layers were different samples, I need 15 layers and there's only 8. On top of that, I even had a customer earlier yesterday say, so I can find all your libraries on eBay for $20. And it's true. If you go to eBay, you can find all my libraries for Omnisphere for low amounts of money. And please don't buy them. If you do, I don't blame you, but please don't if you can't. I mean, if you can, that's why I do sales like this, to offer people a chance to get the libraries a legitimate license from me at the lowest price of the year. But I'm not supporting library plugins that aren't protected anymore. It's so much of what I do ends up in somebody's computer for free. And with Unify, we're able to protect and license the libraries. So we still keep them at a reasonable, affordable price. You guys get the win of having an interface that's fun for low layering patches and all this kind of fun stuff you can do. And the library is protected. So that's really important to me after doing this since 2009. Been here for quite a while making patches, as we will see when we get to the going down the list of everything libraries. But that library for Retrosphere Volume 1 is a really nice library. It's really fun. It requires Omnisphere to work just because that's what it was made for at the time. Unify didn't exist at the time we made this library. And if you hit the little samples list and you go over here to the user directories, to Retrosphere Volume 1, these are all the samples that are found inside of this library. And this is a library of everything is a single sample. There's nothing that's multi-samples in this. So it's one sample. Why does it have 1 star? It's like that. It's different for, like I said, for the Unify version for Retrosphere 2. A lot of these sounds have a lot more samples, etc. to them. You get to some of the pads and stuff like that, the sweet strings and stuff like that, I believe. That's 2 samples. Some of these get into more number. I'm not even sure what the ones are. I'm not going to go digging and searching and stuff, but some of them use quite a few samples. The brass I was telling you about are right here. They're great. Very sweet and the sweetness to them. Right? Stuff like that. Not everything being big and buzzy. There's some soft. There's soft ones as well. There's a drone. This is one that has, I believe this one has, just 4 samples for this one. But the sound's panning and doing fun stuff. What did Will ask? A slower tempo than 20. That's just one of those things. I'm not sure if you, why do you need slower than 20 beats per minute for the tempo? You could set this to a division of, I think, 2 over something. No, that would be a division of that. 2 over 1 would double it, I believe, right? Now it takes 2 cycles to equal 1 repeat, so now it's 10 beats per minute. That's the first time I've heard anybody. Will, if you want to send an email to Unify support, just explaining the reason behind that. It's something we definitely. I mean, we can look at it, but I need to know why and if it's, if it's. They're of course more important. Now, one thing. Last week we had a request for Unify. So that if you were in standalone, which I am, and if you were on the main page and hit the close window, that it would do this. And we have added this for the update that's coming out so that now it will say, are you sure? The reason for this, and it's a good reason too, is if you have something like this or else you've gone through and you started with this and you've used the load embedded and you've loaded a whole bunch of other Unify layers, right? And you open up all these other windows of Unify. So you have 3 windows you're editing. You've got them on your screens and different screens. You're really into it. And if you accidentally, before this, if you accidentally close this, it would just quit. And you'd lose everything. And, there is some visual stuff. The windows that are not the main window have a little X in the corner, as you can see, whereas the main window has the dots for minimize and stuff. But still, I've done it myself where I've accidentally clicked that and Unify quits. Well, it won't do that with 1.7. We've added this request to Unify. So if we see, if you ask for us to do something and can explain why you want it to do it, it's something that might possibly be put into the list. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's one option. I'm just not sure. Oh, soundscapes, ambience, etc. Okay, well. Let's see, what's the slowest Logic goes to? Oh, it goes to 5. So if it could go to 5 BPM, you'd be happy. Maybe I'll talk to Shane and see if we could do that. That's things that are just a parameter range is definitely something that's not that difficult to do. So I'll talk to Shane and say, hey, what about this? And we'll look at it. Another thing that we're adding, I'm super excited about. I mean, sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place, but one thing, if you look in Guru's sampler, when you change to notes, we now have a synchronized button pop up. And now synchronized LFOs will follow the sequence and not re-trigger with every new note. Because I was showing Shane, here, I'll show you an example of how this works. And it's so cool. So say we call up a bass. Let's just say a nice bass, single bass. Little programming fun for a second. So we'll change this to notes. Let's bring the filter down. I'm going to say saw down. Oh, we're distorting a little bit. And let's have the filter cut off. Now, for me personally, I have to always go custom because I want the shape to be a little bit more curved. And let's go over here and let's add a drum to this. So let's say 8 beat, load this into Unify. Right? Now, for this type, it's okay. But what happens is if you call up, say, an arpeggiator like Blue Arp, and let's have it do 16th notes, it's no longer doing the boom, boom, bump. It's now re-triggering every time because this is what it did before. But now when you turn on sync, you get doubles. If you were to slow down this tempo to be, it will do an LFO sweep even with this transport running. So that was something that was added this week. Shane spent a lot of time. It's amazing how much work it takes to add just one cool parameter like that to Unify, but he did it so that. So what this means is that when the 1.7 update is available, after that, I'll release an update to Retrosphere 2 and I'll use some of these cool new abilities. So yay, that's the kind of advanced stuff that's kind of fun to see happen. To be able to take something like this and then be able to have a filter playing around within it while it's still played by an arpeggiator. We couldn't do it before, but with 1.7 we can. So we're very excited about that. Okay, continuing the list, Retrosphere 2. I was to the brass. Oh, we lost your video? Oh. Let me see what happened. Probably the battery died. Let me get my camera. I thought I changed to a new battery, but let's see here. Hello. We're prepared. I have batteries in waiting just for whenever they're needed. So they're sitting here always charging. So there you go. Thank you, Taylor, for letting me know. I love how we can communicate like that. I'm curious about one thing. To create new sounds, do you use synths like Massive X, Serum, Omnisphere, Falcon? I use some synths for some. It depends. A lot of the stuff I'm doing now is acoustic recordings. I've recorded I've gone out to Portland. There's a couple parking garages downtown I've gone to at like 1 in the morning and recorded metal and plastic street drums. I have a library I'm working on. So that, and then I also went into a studio here in Portland and recorded those same drums dry, because I hope to have both a dry and a huge 12-second for incredible sounds. You guys are gonna flip when you hear that. I went and saw my mom and dad, and I recorded my mom's Yamaha grand piano and upright. So those will be in the next library that's coming in December called Mega Magic Keys, which is super cool. Now, I did a library earlier this year, which when we get to talking about libraries and stuff, I can show it to you and play it. And that's Mega Magic Pads Volume 2, which is Pads Volume 2 Mosaic. I made that in Mexico, and I used Massive X. I used a whole lot of other synthesizers. I used Structure from Logic Pro X to create the components that go into, here, I'll show it just for a second since we're here. But if you go here, these pads are really fun in that there's a all, which is and then there's each of the components. That's one component, another component. D, E, which is, this is a structure. Just, isn't that cool? And then C, each one of these has a motion element that I performed. I actually played it on the keyboard per octave. This is one where like you open this up and there's all of these samples where each octave in fifth is a new sample that I performed. So you get these motion pad things that are really cool. And then the multi has all of them. Right? And I did this for like 30, not 30, but I think 8 or 9, some number of different. And if you go to the A, B, C, A, B, C, I think that was Massive X, and D. So I do use synthesizers depending on the library. It just depends on what the library is. So for Retrosphere 2, I was recording older gear. I wanted it to be a retro library and have retro vibe. And so this is stuff, the you know, the micro Q. Now, let me see. I'm just curious how many samples. So this is 6 samples. And then what's fun inside of Unify, if you were to just sit down at the at my micro Q and play it, even if you play soft, that's what it does. It's not expressive hardly at all. But in Unify, I use the filter and velocity and so forth. So you can be expressive with it. Then there's other variations around this. I think Digital Dreams. Is adding a DX layer of FM, and as you can see, I'm using the key range to really limit how bright this FM patch gets, because typically they get way too bright. And I'm changing the curvature so it's really expressive. So you can get a lot more expressivity out of DX here than you can just calling DX'd up in your DAW. And then the final version of this, we made this in a live stream earlier this week. This is with piano. The Unify concert, I believe this is the acoustic church Steinway. So you can play Howard Jones and all that kind of stuff. There's cool leads that I made. And I gotta show you Thor. Might be a little loud. Now, because this is 3 layers, a trick that I love to do is change the pitch bend ranges for each of the layers so that I believe this layer here going up is taking the sound down 24 semitones. So I can, are concerned. Oh, you're right. When I fixed my microphone, I forgot to. Now you can see the keyboard. Okay, so, sorry. Thank you, Taylor. Again, Taylor saves the day. And my throat is raspy, so I need a little, I don't know if you tried these sparkling ices, but I like them. More better. Okay, so this is one where pitch bend, as you can see, I go up. This one layer is being nutty and, but with it going down and the other layer is going up, and down, takes you to a massive multi-octave. So the lead possibilities, if you're playing live and you need kick in your face leads that do cool things, you can do really cool stuff. I'll show you the ultimate example of this was in the leads that I did for the factory library. There's one called the 64X Monster Uniglide. Play one note, pitch bend up, you get THX, and then you can play it. And if you go down, and it's going slow because when we designed Guru Sampler, I asked Shane to incorporate what it called lag. We have it both for how the mod wheel works and for pitch bend. So if you turn on lag as you move the pitch bend up really fast, here, I'll go to this view so you can, I'm gonna move the pitch bend up really fast. It takes forever for it to eventually get there because lag is an envelope. So it's just slowing down how fast it takes to get. I don't know many other synthesizers that give you lag for pitch bend. Absynth gives you this for like lots of its real-time controllers, and I love it. It's one of the reasons I wanted this here is because of my programming time making patches for Absynth, favorite synth of all, one of my favorites. I've got many favorites. Anyway, so there's a ton in this library. If you need inspiring retro patches, and there's fun tricks, there's lots of leads, there's bass, there's tons of pads and synths, and the pads are really nice. The keyboard sounds I showed you were really fun and stuff like that. Just check this out. Going from, here's your pad varieties in 5 patches. Okay? The airy 80s thing. Carpet is just like, covers everything. And then flange just string. You know, off you go. And there's so many other pads. There's plucks that are really cool. There's knobs to everything, so hit the knob button and including delay. Right? So all that, tons of synths. Good stuff, okay? So Retrosphere 2, if you need retro patches, and it's 51% off because everything at my website right now is either on sale at, like, Unify is $69. Once again, I'm gonna promote this a couple times because this is the only time a year that I do a sale this big on everything. There are no bundles. I've had a lot of people write email about where are the bundles, and bundles are 30% off through the whole year if you buy bundles, but I'm not gonna do 30% off and then 50% off a 30% discount. I'm just, so you can build your own bundles. Just go to all the different, go to the products page and click that, and it will give you a list of all of the libraries, and you can see all the crazy prices for everything. Just add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, and you've made your bundle. The wave state, I need to update thumbnails. I'm working on the site as we speak when I'm not doing libraries or live streams, but all of these libraries are 51% off. Some things are free, so we have all of our free things here that say download now, but this is the lowest prices of the entire year on all of my libraries. So if you need inspiring patches, now and between now and Monday is it. They won't get any lower in discount than this. So, great, thank you guys, and thank you for your support. The sales have been really nice. I was a little worried waiting till Friday while everybody's having all their sales and this 80-90% off and stuff, and it's like, oh. So thank you for saving a little bit, for supporting the Plugin Guru family. You know, Taylor and I and Shane and all the other people connected to this little musical adventure appreciate your business and support very much. So thank you. There's a new synth. We got to talk about that really quick. Cherry Audio. I can't spell right. C-A-R-Y. Has a new synth called Quadra. This is a replica of a very famous vintage synth from ARP. And the cool thing that's unique with this is that it's 4 separate synths actually in one that you can combine, and even, as you can see, give key ranges to. It was used by a lot of people doing retro albums and stuff like that. Do you need to get any paid VSTs to get all the sounds for Retrosphere to work in Unify? Retrosphere Volume 2 requires only Unify. These libraries, and we'll talk about these in a few minutes, the exclusives, Big Bad Beats, Chill Guitar, Cloud City, Mosaic, Mega Magic Pads 2, Noise Box, Retrosphere 2, Unichill, Planet Pluck, those only require Unify. Now, the Core Station and Discover Station requires the BBC Symphony Orchestra, and you have to make sure it's the VST2 version. We'll talk about that in a minute. But those are kind of a unique thing because we saw an opportunity to expand on what the orchestra libraries from Spitfire Audio could do. And since they had a $50, the Discover Station, with this, we'll talk about it in a minute. Anyway, we're on Quadra. Oh, overhead camera? Okay, cool. Thanks. I love all the comments from you guys. Thank you. So let's see here. Let's go init. We have not unified this. I'm not sure if I'm going to unify this one or not. We've unified quite a few of theirs. You can find them. If I go to this list, you can see, if we go here to unified libraries and see the list. I love how this works. Cherry Audio, we have 8 voice, memory mode, poly mode, the 2600, those, and the DCO 106 is something else. But we have those 4 unified. We might keep unifying some more, but they're so prolific. They keep making so many libraries so quickly. Don't have time to unify them. If I did that, then I'd never make anything to earn any money, because I'd just be doing these free libraries. So yeah. So now this, I need to go over here to the plus and minus and zoom in. Oh wait, zoom out. So I get it to fit on screen. So the Quadra, as you can see, you have bass, strings, polysynthesizer, and lead synthesizer. They each have their own level of, here, I'll zoom in a little bit on the interface like this. They each have their unique components, and the lead synthesizer has more parameters, even like filter and resonance and things like that. The bass and the strings are a little more basic, but there's some really nice, like, bass and strings. Each one of these has a key range, as you can see right here. So there's a key range for the bass. So you hear the bass, it stops right there. Tons of patches. There's one here. Where is it? Abacabi. And you can see in the mixer section here, they light up and they're colored if you turn them on and off. This is just the lead part. Nice. And it really has a nice vibe to it. They added echo reverberation, including, as you can see, there's spring arp, hall, and plate. So there's go here to the categories, and let's say to the pads, they have quite a few strings with this. And if you hear just a string machine by itself, and you have control over the EQ of it, let's see, and then you could turn this on by turning on the little blue light. And the envelopes for the string, I'm not sure if I like this or not. And I don't know if you can change it, but by default, it sets the envelopes re-trigger. It doesn't let it ring out to the release. Maybe that's what the original did, so they're respecting the way the original worked. I'm sure that's what it is. They wouldn't do it otherwise. Because they really try to make these as accurate of a replica to the original. Anyway, $39 is a great price after touch. It's not mono, it's not polyphonic aftertouch, so everybody. Still nice. Plugin guru friend, part of the family, Houston Singletary, made some patches for this. So it's just great. There's not anything bad to say about it. It's wonderful. So if you need a retro synth and you like the concept of the Quadra, it's very unique how it works, being 4 parts. You can control, as you see, the key range by clicking here and changing what the key range is by note, or you can simply hit learn and then it flashes for the low and then it flashes for the high. So you can set the range just by playing keys on your keyboard, which is nice. It's great. So we give it a thumbs up, highly recommended. Good stuff. Okay, so all right, so let's take a minute, and I wanted to, for the last 20 minutes or so of this live stream, because all the libraries on sale are on sale, I thought it might be beneficial to spend just a little bit of time going through all the libraries. I'm not going to go through the unified libraries is a unique, this is exclusively special just to Unify. These are, let me show you how this works. So if you go to the Plugin Guru website, and if you go to Unify, and you just click Unify, right? This takes you to the Unify Standard Edition. There's only one edition. 2 years ago, when I started Unify in January, I thought we would get to a more pro version. Instead, we've just kept supporting this version. And, sorry, releasing updates that are free for Unify. Now, if you scroll down this page, past the demos and some of the basic details, I need to update what libraries are available. But right here, we have 35 libraries you could download just by clicking these to download them. What these are the free unified libraries for these plugins, which means you have to own this plugin for this to work. If you own Zebra 2, then you can download the free unified library. We have instructions. It's very easy to install into Unify. And now you'll have a Zebra 2 folder, which will have every Zebra patch in Unify format. And the reason that that's super fun is that you can go over here and right click and say load into Unify and load 3 Zebra 2 patches in about 10 seconds or less. So any patch that's in Unify format, you have this ability to just simply right click and say load into this, and it will keep adding until you have up to 24 layers. You could go to the BPM category. Let's go, BPM is so much fun. So you could say start with this. Go to load patch. This is with 1.7. We now have the ability to just set this to load embedded. So now just a simple click will load it as a layer. That's a song right there, man. You know what I want to do really quick? Just go Unify. The other thing that's coming in Unify 1.7 that's great is you can make subsets for all of your plugins. So I'm making sets so I can say just Unify exclusives, and it changes what libraries show up here. So I could go Retrosphere 2, and I could go to BPM drum, and I could say load dissidence into this just by, actually, since it's load embedded, I can just click this and now. And let's go over here to bass. And then we have some tools like holding down Option to turn everybody down so we stop hitting the red line. So all of these libraries become tools for you to use for songwriting just by layering them like that. So if you, let's go back here to the unified libraries really quick. So any of these plugins in this list, if you own them, you can add these patches to Unify and, Chord Prophecy. Let's just put this back to normal load patch. And now you have all the Chord Prophecy patches. If you have to own the Chord Prophecy synthesizer, put this to load embedded. Jeff bass. So I've loaded 3 prophecy basses in seconds. So as long as you own these plugins, you have all of these libraries available to you. I will tell you, Bazille is just nuts. I love Bazille. If you guys need a new synth that you want to play with, after you bought plugin group libraries, of course. But this is their semi-modular synth. And there's just so many really cool, and to be able to go right click to load 2. It's super cool. So that's the unified libraries. Then we get to the plugin guru libraries. These are libraries I have released for other plugins. So the Break Tweaker libraries, if you load these up, go loading a patch. This will load up Break Tweaker and set them up with the rules at how Break Tweaker works. But you have to own Break Tweaker for these libraries to work. There's 3 of them. Mega Macho Drums was the first one that we did. It's probably the most well-rounded because it has a little bit of everything from dance, to drum and bass. Go to Neuro Dump, and this is drum and bass kind of stuff. Dubstep, Mob Kill. Takes a second to, right? Film kind of things, glitch, hip hop, all that stuff. So we did this one first, then we went OMG drums next, and this is one where there's, oh wait, this is urban. OMG for Break Tweaker. This is insane library in its own right. This is one where instead of using my samples, like the thing with Mega Macho Drums is it's using Plugin Guru samples from Mega Macho Drums. For OMG, each of these grooves, the guys put together their own drum samples for this groove. And when you get to some of the dance stuff, some of the airwave grooves and stuff are just, you get to the techno and the trance, these are just pure fire. Mercury, Deadly Cow, Double Dutch. The dubstep that NATO did are super cool, but these are all using new samples from those artists. Right? Yeah, Break Tweaker is incredible. It's super fun. Now, just real quickly, top-down view, if I can remember. Remember, we use the same layout for every one of the grooves, where down below the lowest octaves of the keyboard have the 6 different samples, and you can see them triggered here. Then above here is where you see the different grooves. The C1 is the main groove that plays the bass, everything. C sharp, I remove anything that has pitch, so now you can write in any key. D is an alternative to C, so main groove, B. So you have an A and a B groove to work with. And then starting next are fills. And there's 3 of them. And they each get more insane. Just nuts. And then above that is the no kick version. Hi-hats. F sharp is the no snare version, and then A is a hit of the snare. So with those, you can do a complete song. Just sit there going. Right? You can do your own fills and stuff just by when you play what parts you want to play. And that layout is used for every one of these grooves. And the OMG, it's totally new samples. The Mega Macho drums is using drums I created for the Contact Mega Macho drums or Super Macho drums library. I haven't brought those to Unify yet. Maybe someday, but we need more parameters in the Groove sampler to make it really good. OMG Urban is nothing but urban created by NATO Fields, and these are really, really cool bass music grooves. Tons of creative stuff. Right? So there's 3 libraries for Break Tweaker. FM8, this is the first library I created. Back in the day in 2009, I released a library for FM8, the FM8 Power Pack. And it's still, you know, even 12 years later, you get to some of these bass things. Just, you know, when FM8 came out, they didn't have a lot of really usable straight ahead stuff. So, and I really wanted to learn how to work it. The main reason I started Plug and Groove was to both make libraries, and also that would give me a chance to learn these plugins, right? Can you explain how multi-output works in Break Tweaker? Ooh. No, I'm not going to do that. But you would set your DAW track to be the multi-output version of Break Tweaker. And let me really quickly, I just don't want to stop I want to keep going, you know? But Isotope, Break Tweaker, they have output assignments, right? Do they have output assignments? You know, that's where I suggest looking at their manual or writing their tech support. I'm not going to do tech support for them on that. But there's got to be something there to tell you how to do it. Yeah, and Break Tweaker is like super cheap at Plugin Boutique. If you don't have it, I'll tell you, this is one that's a no-brainer to get from like Plugin Boutique, like Yves is mentioning, because it comes with wave samples for everything. And Brian Transeau, BT, one of my favorite artists that I enjoy, he's got a new album that came out, Metaversal, that's really good. All of his drum samples are there as wave files, so you can use them. And we have a really cool thing coming to Unify 1.7, Sample Mapper. I will talk about this when 1.7 is out, but we have an application to get any of your samples into Unify. Isn't that exciting? So it will be an open door for you to put samples, like all of those drum samples, you'll be able to have them across the keyboard as a Unify map if you want. Anyway, back to the FM8 library. I love this library to death. It's still... There's a lot of these patches that are totally usable today. They're just cool sounds. So that's the FM8 Power Pack. There's another library I haven't unified yet called FM8 Toxic FM8. I'll be bringing that out at some point. There's 3 libraries for Contact for Del Norte EDM Chill, which we made our own unique interface for a library. It's for Contact 5, but it will load into Contact 6. So here's the interface for this. It's our own interface. 2 layers. One is the body and one is the attack. Inside of Unify and Guru Sampler, there is actually, if you go say, new instrument, Guru Sampler, the attacks. There are all of these attack samples. These all came from Del Norte, and I just put all of them into Unify's Guru Sampler. So the Del Norte attacks are actually all the attacks that are found inside of, there's all sorts of really cool patches for this. There's all sorts of BPM ARP things. We had some really... There's some cool things in these libraries for the interface. Mega Magic Bells and Dreams is another one that's just really, really cool. This library is also available for Unify. No, it's... Let's see. I believe... No, this is one that hasn't been unified yet. That's one on my list to do really soon. Mega Magic Dreams is available in so many different formats from Contact. And this is the first library that I did of the Mega Magic series, concept being lots of reverb on samples, and that is baked into the samples so that it doesn't bleed over when you... Because this was when Omnisphere allowed you to have only one sample across the keyboard. And so this was a way to take something and instead of just being a pluck that goes away, put reverb on it. And it rings out a long time. And there's tons and tons and tons of different, from pianos. Single sample across the whole keyboard. Yes, there's a lot in the brute. Yeah, there's a lot because in the Break Tweaker libraries, here, I might go over. If you guys want to hang around, you're welcome to. I'm going to probably go over my normal 90-minute. I can't talk about all these libraries too quickly because you guys are bringing up comments and I want to just flush in a little bit about what that means. So Peter mentioned there's 23 items in the OMG library, and the reason for that is, here, let's go over here, OMG for Break Tweaker. So you choose one of these, right, and close, and it, right? Well, in the folders, we put every one of the drums for every one of the grooves, all 6 of them, into folders. So you have all of the hi-hat, percussion, snare drum, effects, synth, the dance, it's all there so that you can use these sounds to replace. If you get into programming at that level where you go, basically this is one of those where you would say, get rid of that. So it's just Break Tweaker. Say you call up one of these grooves, right? So we go like, now if I solo the kick, I could go here to the little folder for the dance and I could go OMG dance, and I can go down the list to kicks, which is K, or bass drum. It's a bass drum. Yeah, bass drum. And I can choose. There, I like that better. So every one of the elements that is created, we saved them out. So there is thousands of elements and stuff to choose from. If you don't like the clap, go over here to the clap. Let's see, close this. Go to the clap, hit that folder. Whatever you choose. Here's for the dance from the OMG. So here we have all the claps. I like that. So you can mix up the grooves and change the sounds inside of them too. So it's pretty cool. And everything you hear is all WAV files, which means you can use those sounds in your other DAWs, all that kind of stuff. I need another little sippy. Okay, so Break Tweaker, FM8, Contact are really fun. The fun thing with the Contact libraries, if you get to the BPM patches and stuff, let's see. This is Mega Magic Dreams. I want to go to Bells and Winds. This is a really fun one that has a lot of, let's see, where are they? Were they put down here? C, Bell, C. Ah. See what's going on here. One of these libraries in particular, I did a whole bunch. Maybe it's there's some really cool things in the interface that we did for these. One of them being this glitch parameter that we use, and maybe I called it glitch. Wind, pluck, bell. Let's see, glitch. Yeah, glitch. These are really fun where it's playing one note. You get 3 octaves or chords. Speed strum. And that's by using this really cool thing called glitch, which is like a MIDI effect. It's you can even have it do transpose. Do cool things like that. Really, really fun stuff. So the Contact libraries are really cool. They're also the libraries that are available for Omnisphere, just in their own unique interface for Contact. Airwave, there's so many cool libraries. Airwave Volume 3, I've got Airwave Volume 2 Unified, I believe, somewhere as well. But this is just one of those libraries that is just... There is so many cool things to study in Airwave patches. Just any one of these. Open up Omnisphere and study because there's 4 different elements. And what he's doing for each of the elements is a school in synthesizer programming. Great stuff. Bassbox is for Trillion. This is a library using Trillion, and we have the patches made available as well for inside of Unify. There's another library that I did for one of the extensions, and that would be Colors, which is right here for Keyscape. Another favorite, this is a library that has, if you're familiar with Noir from Native Instruments, this has some things that are kind of like that, where there's either there's pulsing elements or there's, see, I'll take stuff like that happening under the piano. There should be a piano loading. Let me see here. And if not, just go down here to the keys. There's a ton of really cool, let's go to like some of the Chili. This is one of the Chili pianos. Take a minute to load. So you have these cool And this is because I'm able to load multiple layers of Omnisphere into Unify. I couldn't do this otherwise. And what's even cooler is I can open up this Unify layer, and now I can go down the list to all these different things and try. All sorts of stuff to play with. The brightest pianos that you can get anywhere for keyscape. I used to do. I'm using high pass filters and all sorts of tricks to get super bright. There's really nice soft. And I have a different taste for piano, so I have a little bit longer release on all the patches. Just plays nicer for me. That's how I like my piano. So there's all sorts of fun things, these BPM splits that have all sorts of fun experimental space complex 3B. So this is getting into some of the more complex programming tricks I've learned for Omnisphere in that library. Creature-esque, well, let's get back up here to the top. So after Airwave, Bassbox, Beautifully Broken is just an incredibly cool library. I was thinking Boards of Canada. It's one of the libraries that has drum loops inside of Omnisphere. So all these BPM drums are actually drum loops. Feature request, a way to deleting a Unify patch layer from the main patch. Oh, that's easy. You can do that already. Say the patch has 3 layers. You can either click in the bullet right here and you have delete layer, or because I'm a power key whore and proud of it, you can hold down Option and click this, and that will also delete any layer in Unify. It will also delete any effect. So if you click the little bullets next to effects, boom, they're gone. So there's quick keys for all that kind of stuff, my friend. So anyway, there's drum loops that I put in here, and this is using this trick inside of Omnisphere that is using granular to actually play the drum loop. So the full drum loop is in there, and then there's an LFO that is controlling the speed of playback. It's modulating this. If you move this around, can I use colors if I own Keyscape but not Omnisphere? No, sadly. I actually know how to make the patches work in Keyscape, but it's not part of the code to hack XML and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna do that. You need to own Omnisphere. It's Omnisphere 2 patches. So so that's how the drum loops are playing. And then if you get down here to these multis, these are super fun, where it's low note. This is like the OMG layout, where low note C is a latch to start a groove, then a bass, there's guitars, found love on YouTube, but misunderstood. Defining a patch. Oh, defining a patch. Oh, like, okay. Yeah, we're not doing that. That's I can put it on the list, but I don't know when we will do that. I hear what you're saying. So lots of different drum grooves, bass, split, layers, a lot of moody synth parts. Yeah, colors and stuff in the interface. That's something I've wanted to have. It's on the list. Trust me, it's been there since the beginning, but we've wanted to add features, and yeah, it's on the list. That's all I'm gonna say right now. Really, really cool guitars, leads. The pads are very moody. So it's a moody kind of aimed at like Stranger Things / Boards of Canada grooves, stuff like that. Boombox is a library of transitions and hits that are really, really cool. There's so many hits inside of Omnisphere, it's tricky to find them. So here's all the tuned ones, atonal ones that are, and then big hits that I made using all of them. Then you get to the sweeps, and these are all things that are set to a time envelope, so they will be 8 measures no matter what tempo you are at. 32 count granular, 32 count, it's doing a sweep. Right? So if you have a song going or something, we have 8 count, 4 count, 32 count. So you can do different length things, transitions. This is one that we did for Halloween. So all sorts of additional bonus patches were made for Halloween. So there's all sorts of weird stuff in this that comes with the library. Del Norte EDM Chill is kind of, I went on a really cool little sabbatical trip, whatever, to the Redwoods and took along my Access Virus TI2, which I love very much. And I made synth sounds at night, and I traveled around and took pictures and flew my drone during the day. It was really, really fun. So there's all sorts of really cool, big synth sounds. These pads, these are very complex, where it's using all of these layers of Omnisphere. And this is one of the libraries that I believe Kendall Cochran helped create and pulled out each of the ranges as a separate Omnisphere plugin, which means each one of these ranges has the full polyphony of Omnisphere and is using a separate core. So you can play these, and you can play far more notes than you can play in Omnisphere before it will poop out on you. It's really nice. Pulsing and spinning. All sorts of really, really cool synth, lead, effects, chords, just really cool. All using these new samples from my virus. So it's one of my favorite libraries. I love Del Norte, or Del Norte. ESC Tribute was put together by the ESC, the European Sound Collective. They appreciated me supporting them and letting their libraries come out and selling them. So they made a library as a tribute to me, which was very nice. Colors I showed. Creaturesque is samples, vocal samples. Yeah, Andy, you got to realize graphics, even a simple thing, is huge. Huge amount of work to do. Updating graphics is the hardest part of software programming by far. Typically, you can make parameters and make a plugin or something like that. Say it takes you a week, then it takes 6 months to do the graphics. So even a simple, like, even if it did, you know, it's it's rewriting the code of all sorts of things that are far larger than just a little dot. I just want a color dot up here. Even that takes a huge amount of work. I'm sorry. That's why it's been on the list and not done. But, you know, it's a huge amount of work. It's like we got to stop work on everything else for Shane to do it, because Shane's the only one that does this stuff that we're enjoying. Right? So Creature-esque is vocal samples, both phrases that are super cool. The Latin phrases. And what's fun with this library is I use Melodyne to take like Latin 3. Let me see if that's down here. I mean, I don't mean to crash the spirit, but adding, it's a huge amount of work, and it's Shane's least favorite kind of work. So that combination makes it something that's probably not gonna, let's see, Latin. Let me see, say Latin. We have the phrases both Mega Magic, as well as, like, if we say Latin 6 echo. Here it is, Mega Magic out with reverb and stuff. And the original was originally an octave. Which is cool in its own right, but by going in and using Melodyne, I got rid of the octave, so that's so there's tons of really, really cool phrases. Here it is with reverb. So you end up with these really beautiful pads that have vocal phrasing stuff, but they don't change pitch. So it's really, really cool. It's a special library. I'm actually working on Creature-esque 2. That's one of the things that I did when I went to Mexico and spent some time down there with Kathy. I stayed at her place. Ignota. There's all sorts of talking phrases and stuff in the library. It's huge. Also, I was in Hawaii for a little while, so I recorded the waves there, and that's in here. And then my dog Athena. Talking and Athena's agitated. Sounds pretty cool over and stuff. So there's dog and vocals. How's that for a Creature-esque library? There's a bonus library where there's all sorts of really cool people made that contributed to this. I made it available early. So there's all sorts of crazy. Yes, yeah, Cubase. That's my dog Athena. I want to do more with her talking because she loves to talk. And I think there's some more. Let's see if there's anything that says dog. Moody Creature. So Creature-esque is vocal. Now Mega Magic cello, viola, and violin are 3 libraries that I did for Omnisphere. I did cello first, where we recorded, and this is one of those where it's you go to the multi-mode. Let's see, how did we do it? Like here. vibrato, multi. There's no vibrato. Crescendo is really, really cool. And then Mega Magic put reverb on it, so it becomes this really cool. Now, this is living in the limitations of Omnisphere's 8 samples. So it doesn't, it's cello and it works extremely well, but it's not like these other libraries from Kontakt that have 8,000 samples to make up one cello. This is 8 samples total. So with that in mind, I'm really very surprised how nicely these came out. And so this layout for these pizzicato, spiccato, here's mono. And then the Mega Magic version has the reverb. Inya anybody, you know? That kind of stuff. Cello came out really nice. Marcato. But it's a different spirit because it's only 8 samples. You don't have the note off samples, you don't have the alternate articulations, you don't have round robins. None of that stuff exists because I only could work with 8 samples. So it is what it is. I love it. It's got all sorts of cool stuff beyond. After you get to the program mode, it's just a single sample, right? So there's really, really cool synthy things using those samples. Just crazy. Coxa did these incredible chords. All sorts of cool BPM stuff that's just like... And everything's using cello samples. So it's got both the acoustic side... But it's got this stuff too, so. Yeah, these libraries are just beautiful, beautiful. The violin, I must admit, I'm especially proud of how the violin came out for the vibrato. Dry is just lovely. And then if you go into the Mega Magic, there's 2 different Mega Magics. And what's fun is to put this with real strings because this has a whole different space to it. Mega Magic 2 is an octave in the reverb. So there's crescendos and it's just beautiful. I love these. And viola. Mary Eckert played both the viola and the violin. Just wonderful stuff. There's these really, really cool, where are they? Oh, there's slow motion. which is really cool. But the harmonics are just so haunting. Here's dry. Then you put it into the ambience, which is just a room. But the Mega Magic is by far the coolest. And there's a handful of these that are really cool. The Motion Whisper is also really pretty. Right? Again, this is, if you open up Omnisphere, this is using 8 layers, 8 separate patches, each one dedicated to a specific note range across the keyboard. It took forever to program this. And if you want to like change the settings, change the release time, you have to change the release time to all 8 patches. So it's a very torturous way to work, but it's the only way to get these to work at the time. And then, like the other libraries, when you get over here to the string, there's all sorts of really cool variations. Yeah, Tim Dale made a comment. He actually made some of these patches in here, so. If you look at this, there's strings, as well as other things from Omnisphere in it. So those 3 libraries are 3 of my favorite. I mean, this is like my kids. So I have 80 kids. Which one's my favorite? Good Lord, I can't pick them out. Mega Magic Pads is the second library I did in the whole Mega Magic. Mega Magic Dreams was first. Mega Magic Pads was second. This is a library where I created these pads using software synths and then reverb and stuff and multi-sample. Let's see, I'm trying to see, here they are as multis. So if you go to search and say multi, so it only shows you the multis. These are the pads. Some of these have been used on so many songs and albums and records and films and just really cool, useful. Breath Whiskey Sober. There's strings, they're really. Battleborn is one that's used on so many trance albums. Both the dance version and then the pad version, which is here. Because the mod wheel takes it down to just. Alien Landscape. So all sorts of stuff. That's just beautiful. Cape Siren. I was actually in the process of ending my marriage when I made this library, and so this library has a little bit of extra heavy connection for me. You know, pastoral sound. I mean, I made this pad and then I'd sit and play and cry while playing this. So I still remember that so clearly. So this is a powerful library for me personally, pads. And then after that, I did guitars. Let's get happy. So this is a really nice library of 12 sampled guitars. Again, it doesn't come anywhere close to like the the Nylon Sky and the guitars in other sample libraries because they have the luxury of thousands of samples. Pete says it's cathartic. Yeah, I'm like ready to start crying for playing it, so. That's why we're going happy, happier. But this is a really, really fun. This library was presented both dry, so you have the 6 strings, just dry. But to me, the best version is either the instrument or the MM1 or 2 patches. So, and next year, I'm going to work on getting these Mega Magic libraries natively into Unify. So that is on my list to attempt. It's a lot of programming work, but we'll see how we do. I can't make the exact same patches, you know, like all the things that are unique to Omnisphere. That's unique just to Omnisphere. So I can't do that for the Unify version. But we'll do cool stuff for the Unify version, right? Maybe we'll open it up, let you guys contribute. I've done that in the past. Anyway, there's a 12 string, there's an electric sitar, which is fun when you go to the Mega Magic versions. Yes, Mega Magic Cello is separate from Mega Magic Violin, Viola. Each of these libraries that you see here, the Mega Magic bonus is because if you bought Mega Magic 1 and 2, I made a library combining both of them. I never did that for Viola, Violin, and Cello. It'd be fun to do that. I'll probably do that for the Unify version, but I didn't do that for the Omnisphere version. So the rule of thumb, there's 2 guitar libraries, Volume 1, Volume 2. Volume 1 is 6 samples to make all these different... there's a nylon aria. I love the steel string. This is in Unify. All of these guys, by the way, if you go to... let's see, Guru Sampler. Do I just have an empty or a knit Guru Sampler, right? Open this up. If you go to this list, you'll notice there is Mega Magic Cello, Dreams, Guitars, Guitars Part 2, Pads, Viola, and Violin in Unify. I took my favorite things from those libraries. If you go to Mega Magic Guitars, 12-string aria, the Alvarez is there, the Mega Magic 1 version. There's a dry and there's a Mega Magic 2. And a Mega Magic 1 for all the guitars. But I pulled out all 3 of the Steel Martin, the dry Mega Magic 1, Mega Magic 2. So here's how it works. The dry, get rid of the, that's the dry version. Mega Magic 1 means just nice blanket of beautiful reverb. And it's fun to play. The Intimate is using that, but more expressive and darker. So I shaped it so that the reverb isn't quite as big as the Mega Magic 1. Mega Magic 2 is octave, the Valhalla shimmer verb. Right? So you have those versions to all of these guitars. A Yamaha nylon, far more than you have in Unify. I just picked out my favorite, just one of each of those, except for the Steel Martin, which I included 3. But there's a steel, a nylon, electric sitar, and a 12-string guitar. Okay? Mega Magic Guitars Volume 2 is mostly single samples of, let's see, make sure I'm over here like this. But these are single samples that work really, really well for even this, just a single sample. They didn't need multi-samples for these to work. And you get to the new jazz and stuff like that. These are really nice. But then you add reverb to it, and it takes you to a whole different place. Right? There's also strat, there's all these phrases and chords, which are available dry as well as with Mega Magic Reverb. Okay, so I'm just keep going. There's steel string. Again, Mega Magic 2 is all about single samples. Transpose and play very nicely. You guys are talking weather. I love it. Cat, which became this really cool. Harps. Okay, so Mega Magic Guitar, there's 2 versions. The second version has just single samples, whereas Mega Magic 1 is about trying to do the instruments with 6 samples. Northern Lights from Jason Schopfer is really beautiful pads and just beautiful. I mean, it's a great library. There's pads for days, and they are beautiful. Oh, this is Northern Impact. Northern Lights is, Northern Lights is the first one he did, and this is all these really cool, beautiful textures and pads and stuff. And then he and I worked together for Northern Impact, which is sound design of ice samples and all sorts of really cool stuff. It's actually a cool library. I'm not going to show it off very well, probably, but right? Yes. Northern Lights is great, and Northern Impact are both great libraries for Omnisphere that have been unified. OMG Urban RMX is a really, really fun library with all these drum grooves. Let's see, where did I put the actual basses? All the elements, and then somewhere are the multis. Here's the multis. These are crazy, 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 crazy. As you can see, there's multis and RMX multis. So basically, let's call up Golden, for example. This is one where there's these grooves that were originally done for Break Tweaker. I brought them over to OMX, to Omnisphere. This is the same. Let's see, do I have OMG drums? I didn't do the others. I need to do those. Sorry, my voice. So OMG Urban is the only one that I did. Wow, okay. Well, I need to do the other ones, but these are really fun where there's a cool groove. all sorts of crazy things that are, this is those urban type of bass music grooves, but the RMX versions, I kind of took them out into another place. So there's the loop, as you can see, the loop version. Where you can play it this way. This is supposed to be 64 beats per minute, so we're at a little bit faster than that. So I should come over here and say 64. Okay. And then there's the RMX map where I've sampled. I gotta see what I did. Oh, this is just the RMX map. Then the groove. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Dazed. Here's the groove. I was like, wait, that's different. RMX. The RMX version is the fun one. That's where I kind of went crazy. I took those same samples and did this to it. So anytime you get to these and you see the RMX, you call that up and it's just super fun. Oh yeah, Taylor, go ahead. Taylor needs to go. Taylor has a lunch date, so thank you. Everybody give a shout out to Taylor. Happy Thanksgiving to Taylor. So there's all sorts of, I love Urban RMX. It's such a really, really fun library. Omni-X, Omni-X 2, Sabersphere. Sabersphere 2 is supposed to, you know, let me go over here. If I go to the libraries tab, Sabersphere 2, let's add, oh, wait, close. Plugin Guru libraries, and then add Sabersphere 2, save, or close. These are all Tim Dale libraries. Tim is right here saying hello and chatting along with us, and he did these libraries. Let's see here. Let me get to Omni-X. These, well, he did Sabersphere first. So let's look at Sabersphere. This was the first library he did, gosh, way back in the day, dude. We've been doing this for a while. This only needs Omnisphere. There's no new samples in the first one he did. I don't know if there's samples. Tim, which of these need samples? I think most of these are just Omnisphere by themselves. But he's using so many tricks inside of Omnisphere for these libraries. Good stuff. I mean, now all these libraries I'm showing you, I have walkthrough videos. So I'm supposed to be just quickly going through these, but I'm failing at that a little bit. But they're great libraries. If you want more information, there's a full patch walkthrough. Thank you, Taylor. So Taylor's been great. Appreciate his help so much. Have a nice lunch date, my friend. So it goes on and on and on. There's so many patches in all these libraries that goes on and on and on. Great keys. So if you need inspiring patches, Sabersphere and Sabersphere 2 are more straight ahead. play it on the keyboard. There is some BPM things, but Omni-X and Omni-X Volume 2 are nothing but BPM synths. So it's all BPM stuff. So Omni-X came out when Stranger Things came out, so there is a bit of that kind of vibe. All sorts of stuff, so we can just enjoy BPM stuff. Great stuff, fun. And again, right click, add a couple of these together. Now, if you want to make more sense out of this, just put a pump house on this to clean it up and give it a little bit more defined shape. Go pump house, click in the little graphic display, go to presets, to sidechain, maybe sidechain 2. And then bring down the depth. Have a little bit more. It's really fun to put crazy phonetic things and then just shape it all with a pump house too. And unlike most of the other guys that do the sidechain stuff, we have depth. So we can have just a little bit. You can't do that with LFO Tool. You can't do that with the other guys for the most part. They don't give you a depth. It's just full on. So these two libraries are really, really fun as far as BPM ARP stuff, and they kind of show when you get to Omni-X Volume 2, this is Tim was definitely you know, it's like 4 or 5 years between Saversphere 1 and Omni-X 2. We got better with the artwork as well as the libraries itself for what's there. On the Unify page, I search for cello and find nothing. Where's the Unify file for Mega Magic Cello for Omnisphere? I might have missed that. Let me look real quick. Good question. I was going through and trying to make sure that I had, let's go here, log out there. Let me check real quick because that might be one where I need to get it added to the, you know, managing so many libraries. I'm doing my best, but I might have missed that. Let me check real quick. So go down here to, here. I can tell you really quickly. If I go cello, Mega Magic Cello for, that's Contact and Omnisphere. Edit. Let me take a look real quick to see. Oh, you know what? I need to get that to you. I haven't put that up yet. Sorry. I'll put that up in after this live stream. I'll spend the time to get that up and running. Let's see here, and I'm gonna go right here. Sorry, just doing a little house cleaning. Yeah, so yeah, Raymond, sorry, I need to add that because we've unified it, and it's here because I've shown it to you. So I will get that into the file probably after I get done with this walkthrough. All right, so where are we at? We're here. Omnipulse, these are Rhythmic only libraries. This is my variations on the Omni-X theme from Tyndale. Omnipulse came first. It's got all sorts of crazy BPM stuff. Nothing but BPM stuff everywhere. Crazy stuff. Fun library. All sorts of fun stuff. BPM guitar, chunky. The nylon ping pong. And again, because everything is BPM, you could go to the BPM pad. They work together. And you only need Omnisphere for this to work. You only need Unify if you want to do the layering. And so you got that kind of stuff to work with this library. It's really fun. I love rhythmic stuff. And these are all super nutty fun. Carlin Pulse. So you have all that kind of stuff to play with. Omnipulse 2 is a little bit different in that I made multis first, and I would build up BPM patches all together. This is probably one of my favorite, most creative things I've done for Omnisphere because that's one note. Complete everything. And then each of these separate components are pulled out up here as the separate riffs and the bass lines. And there's all of these oxygenated for the fun stuff. Speedy Racer. Some of them are splits, as you can see, and Train Lovers. This is from was it Tangerine Dream. Play one note. You'll do the whole, all the way to the end. Zinger Dancid. Really, really crazy stuff. All these multis, riffs, there's... I have tried Phobos. It won't work on this computer that I'm working with, so I haven't used it much. It's nice, it's okay. But no, I haven't unified it. If somebody wants to unify it, you can send it to me and I will say it's, all these unified libraries that I'm showing you, quite a few of these were unified by our customers. And I thank all of you guys for doing that to make these available. I didn't go through and unify these. There's some really talented people that have automated tools that will go through and save out the patches. We've made some tools that can help make saving out the patches in Omnisphere and stuff like that fairly painless. So it will put in information for us. So I want to thank all of them for that. But if there's some plugin that you love that you want to unify, send us a note ahead of time at unifysupport@pluginguru.com. Tell us what you want to unify, and we will check to make sure it's okay with the company that released the plugin to unify it, because sometimes they say no thanks. There's some things I've wanted to release as unified libraries and been asked not to. So if someone says no thanks, then we don't. But anyway, so these are the rhythmic ones. Now the third Omnipulse is cinematic. So I went for rhythmic things, different kinds of pulses. Right? There's all sorts of really cool fake news strings. I think this library came out before fake news was really even a thing. It's pretty funny. But there's all sorts of really cool noises and cinematic things and saving the world. Watch that guy. I remember this one was pretty fun. So if you're doing more cinematic stuff, this has a lot of BPM strings for the marcatos. Just Omnisphere, no new samples. And if you add that to, say, Discover Station strings and stuff like that, sounds beautiful. 16th note strings. All sorts of things that are more what a cinematic composer would want to have. Right? So that's the three Omnipulse libraries. Percussa, oh my God. This is an insane library that I am so proud of. This is one using percussion. Oh, let's do Shadow of Death first. All Omnisphere doing cinematic drum percussion using the arpeggiator to power these. I love this. And then there's toms hidden on the mod wheel. So if you bring up the mod wheel up, waiting for the moment, and they go all the way. I did this with Exosun, who's Casey Baldwin, who lives in Florida, and Airwave, that lives in Belgium. Is it Belgium? Brussels, I think. Belgium, I think it's Belgium. But he has just some of these, when you get to the faster things up here and stuff, just let's see, Rotterdam Triplets is one of his. Manhunt in the Cave. So it's all about cinematic percussion in Omnisphere, which you wouldn't think of. I mean, this should be like a library for Stylus RMX, but there is no Rhythmic Stylus RMX to do this with. So, but these are my own samples. And the arpeggiator playing on multiple tracks of Omnisphere to create these. Losing bud quickly. And so as you see, there's a groove. So, I mean, these are insane. Mod wheel, you have to check on every one of the grooves. And then the kit gives you those sounds that were used. So you can make your own grooves. Which, those are the 6 sounds used to make that. Lab is exploding, it just gets more and more nuts as you get to the faster tempos. This nut stuff. Never seen any library anywhere close to this anywhere else. So all from Omnisphere. It's crazy. So and then on top of that, on top of all this stuff, if you go scrolling up here into the full library, let me see here. These are the multis. It's separated into 3 separate libraries. You have BPM drums for all the BPM drum elements that you hear in all those grooves, pulled out as separate. So now, go over here, say load embedded. Let's say we want to have a Morse code. And let's have going bigger. I'm just gonna scroll down the list. Here's a low. They're combined by low elements and mid and high. So you can make new grooves from these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of elements. Like, play with the mod wheel. It's insane. This is the sickest library I have ever done by far. And then effects and hits is just all the patches as individual hits. So you have all the different. Is it gonna load them up? Oh, I'm adding to it. So let me go back here to this like this, and then it's replacing. It's gotta flush out everything. For just the individual samples, all the sounds used to make this library are available. So yeah, no, you have to have the full version of Kontakt for the Kontakt libraries to work. Okay? Percussa, insane. Radio Ready is designed for, it was my attempt and actually came out really cool at giving you all the patches you need to do all sorts of songs. If you look at this in multi-mode on the mixer, things are set up to different MIDI channels, so you can play all these different parts to make up all these different things. You need to listen to the demo songs. So this is set up for songwriters. If you call up Green Veggies or so forth, these are all set up. If I change my MIDI channel here, I can hear there's flutes, basses, all these parts. I think this is one that we've released. I don't think we've released this one yet. Let me see something really quick. Go back here. If so, I need to fix this because it's coming up with the volumes at half volume and stuff like that, which is not what I want. As you can see, this is turning into a really casual just hang. We're at like 2.5 hours now. My gosh. And you guys are still here. What? But I want to show you all the libraries because the sale's going on. Here's a chance to save. You need to know what the libraries are, right? So radio ready. Let me see something really quick here. Yeah, I don't know if this is one. Oh, it does have a Unify version. I need to check this because I'm calling up these multis and there's no mastering and the volume's at -15. So that's not how it should be. Or maybe that's where it needed to be to play the songs once it plays all the parts. I'll have to look into this because it just doesn't look quite right to me. But this is one for songwriters, okay? Signs of Life is a really special library in its own unique, different way. I did a trip to Costa Rica, and I took my daughter with me, and I took a field recorder, and I recorded all of these ambiances. If we get to the environmental, let's see, Signs of Life, Z environmentals, these are all these recordings that I did. This is rain on the tin roof of this house we stayed at on the Caribbean side. And it changed. Different kinds of rain. There was a cow that we met. It was really hungry. This was by a waterfall, which is really cool. Natural ambiances. 192 kilohertz, 24-bit audio to start with, and then I downsampled everything to 48 kilohertz for the library. But it sounds so good. And these samples, if you transpose them down, they just become really special at, you know, even taking them down lower, take them down a couple more octaves. Really, really special stuff. And then when I got home, I took these and I put them into a convolution reverb that I ran sounds through. And so I made all sorts of pads and stuff using, let's see, if we go to the Z pads, these are all the original samples. Bug Life. There's environmental sounds fueling my modular synths for some of these. I had 4 different engines that I set up with different synthesis. So everything has bugs and insects and environmental sounds inside of them. And these are just the samples. And then above this, you get into all the synth, pads, keys, effects, BPM synths. These are all using those samples now in Omnisphere to make this. So it was a really, really fun experimental project. But inside of it are bugs and environmental sounds. So it was really, really fun. I recorded in order to go to Costa Rica from Portland, Oregon, you have to spend the night in Los Angeles before you catch a flight to Costa Rica the next morning. And I stayed at a place right underneath the airport. So all night long, there were airplanes flying by. So I recorded the LA jet landings so that you have right? I mean, it was crazy. So there's all of these wonderful environmentals at different places and restaurant ambiances where we ate. I even got back home and it rained on my car and it sounded so cool. I recorded that. And then all the sounds down here, these pad sounds, are using my modular or convolution reverb or other synth techniques to power them with sound effects, the environmental sounds. So if you're into ASM kind of stuff, there's a lot of that. Okay. Then Radioactive Life is taking these same samples, but going kind of like into a dystopian world where everything is distorted and it's a free library that I did as a bonus that comes with Signs of Life. So if you're into alternative dance and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of this that's really, really cool. 20,000 years. So all sorts of fun things there to work with. Okay, so Signs of Life. Tetrasonics is a library Tim Dale, yay, did, which has tons of new, not tons, but a lot of new samples for Omnisphere. Right? Really, really cool stuff, and it's been unified, so it's available. Effects, lots of BPM grooves. Right? All sorts of stuff like that. Toxic Omnisphere is a library I did with Seth Norman, who now, as we have you seen in the latest videos for Omnisphere, he's the head of their sonic extensions, and so this is a library that actually freaked out everybody at Spectrasonics, and for good reason, because I've never heard these sounds made by anybody else. I got inspired from what Seth did, but I mean, all these donks and the basses and you've never heard Omnisphere sound like that. Well, now he's made patches like that for Omnisphere's voicing and for their, but load a couple of these into Unify. Very angry. A lot of Portland angst built up into the patches. Really cool riffs for the leads that are just it's like, don't do that. Whoa, what are you doing that for? Yes, Isabel is mentioning something about there's one patch that has the Yulin loudness meter, and I forgot to take it off. So I will fix that in the patch update. Sorry about that. So Toxic Omnisphere is Omnisphere in a really unique way. Retrosphere 2 I showed you guys, which is now a Unify library. Serum Kimoji is a library for Serum that is really, really cool dance EDM patches. So really, really cool ideas in here for programming. That's a fun library to make. I made this in partnership with the guy that does graphics for my website. For all my libraries, most of my libraries, I have two guys doing artwork now. This is Matt Chowski. He did these patches. Well, most of the patches. I did some. And then we released it together here at the website, and been very nicely received. Serum Urban is the OMG Urban patches and stuff, plus some other things that I snuck in there. There's some of the Mega Magic viola and violin stuff for Serum in this library. There's cool whistles, cool. So it's cool for all sorts of genres of music. Different way to present some of the samples from Mega Magic libraries, all in one library that's called Urban. So how's that for confusing? Then there's basses and all sorts of cool rhythmic stuff and booms. Cool library for Serum. And then finally, the last library in these is Toxic Zebra, which is for Zebra, which I did with Seth Norman. Another library that will scare your parents. Zebra is so fun to program, so Seth and I had a great time. Reverb, no reverb, stuff like that. Big basses. I sent this library to Howard Scar, who's one of my favorite programmers, and he goes, nice semi-acoustic piano. He didn't like all the aggressive in-your-face stuff. Yeah. So that's all them. Now, real quickly, the Unify exclusives. There's a handful of libraries we've now released just for Unify that don't need anything else. The 808 Day is a free 808 drum kit library you can get from the website, which gives you the an 808 kit I designed. And then a friend of ours, Sharuz, he sampled his 808, and you have all of those as well. Sounds great. Really nice library. So that's a free library. Big Bad Beats is a library of, this is the first product I ever created for sale. It's a drum loop library that comes with a whole bunch of variations on the same groove. Kind of like Break Tweaker, but as loops. They follow tempo, so you can speed up and slow them down. And then I took a lot of these where you see an X. That means that there's a version, let's see here. Oh, the X at the end of it. So like, here's the normal. The one with an X at the end of the name means it's a reprogramming of the MIDI file. to be more straight ahead, you can do this with any of these grooves. Just call up a groove, turn off MIDI box. And now, if you play chromatically from the bottom of the keyboard, you can do this, or you can program your own grooves with any of these loops. And there's a ton of them. I mean, just so many. There's bumpin'. Some of these I was using redrum from Propeller Heads, which isn't even available anymore. Jackknife. This is back in the day when New Jack Swing was a thing. So in some cases, like full mix, it's swinging. And then the X version next to it isn't swinging. Because it's 2021 and nobody swings anymore. It's just, everything's straight. So anytime you see the the X or the XX, you have variations on the theme to work with. 3. Do you need anything else other than Unify for big bad beats? No. This is strictly, can an instrument be copywritten? Some. Yeah, Big Bad Beats is super fun. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you. This is a fun library because there's so many places you can take these. And you don't need anything else to play drum beats. The drum beats all work. Now the full mix menu that you see, you'll see it's set up so that there's a different drum loop on each chromatic key. So you can, and then below this, they're broken out into each of the loops across the whole keyboard. And then you can play up another keyboard. Right? And then you have knobs over here for control and decay. So you can, if you go down in pitch, use the decay to shorten it so it's a little bit tighter, so it's not so flabby. Reverb's on the mod wheel. So you can bring up accents. And this is the rule of thumb with all of these drum loops. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drum loops. And then on top of this are vocoder bonus patches as a separate library where I'm taking those drum loops. Inside of Unify, we developed a thing called Combo Box, and you're seeing a version with the wrong color background. We're going to fix that for the final release, but all of these are vocoder patches and are really, really fun. Like I could take, this is Mellow Candlelight. Now I could go over here to Big Bad Beats, and I could look for Candlelight, which is right here. Now this is where you'd want to load without transpose. So you'd say like Candlelight Full Mix 2, no pitch shift. And that way, when I play across the keyboard, it doesn't shift pitch. And if I want, I can go to another groove. Let's say Java. Let's say Full Mix 1. Right? So they all work together, but the vocoder phrases are really beautiful and do all sorts of... I mean, there's certain things, what are copywritten, they're talking copywriting in the chat. You can copyright samples. Like the D50, you can't sample those sounds and then sell them because and in most cases, they're using samples that, Eric licensed his samples to Roland, just like you can't sample a wave state if it's got my samples in it because I haven't given you permission to do so. Who is it? The guys that make Piano Tech, they have said you can't sample that piano. So I respect that, and I don't sample their piano. So you can, there are copyrights to things like that, but an acoustic instrument in and of itself, no, there's no copyright on, like, you can't sample this piano. I mean, people have sampled every type of piano there is. Anyway, Big Bad Beats, it's 3 libraries. You have both versions. Now, these are just actual loop files. So if you call up the full mix and you play up the keyboard, it's playing the sample, because I gave you the full-length samples from the full library. This library, by the way, when it came out in 2000, was $199. Now it's $49 at the website, and it's 51% off. So, yeah, costs have come down quite a bit because of the delivery and all that kind of stuff. So Big Bad Beats is really fun. Chill Guitar Phrases is a really interesting library. I've purchased a license to use these samples from a company called Sample Gods in Germany, and I used them to make, well, if you come down here to the Chill Guitar Phrases themselves, these are tons of guitar phrases. That are all at 85 beats per minute. And then I have some templates that I made set up, like right here, like say 85 beats per minute. Let's just load this. And so we now have a low C that will play a groove, the drum groove and the guitars. And if I move the guitar phrase, you see it's changing to a different guitar phrase. And then above it, I have a bass and a keyboard sound. And then you have distortion you can add to the guitar. Pulse. The rate, reverb, and then the volume. So if you want, take the volume of the guitar part out if you want to play other chord progressions and stuff for a B part of the song or something like that. And I have them at different tempos, and as you go to the different tempos, it's different production. So 120 beats per minute, you want different sounds than you want when it's 65 beats per minute. So guitar phrases, drum grooves, and all the sounds to fill it out so you can do complete productions. Really cool pads that are in here as well as all sorts of, the drums are crazy for hip. DTT is the down tempo thriller kit. So it's a killer library, love that. Cloud City was one of the first bonus content libraries I did for Unify. You only need Unify. I sampled my tongue drum. I've actually got it over there for the... That's it's open, and then I taped it up as well so you could yeah, Modart, right? So you have those, and then you have all these really, really cool basses, 808 basses. The bells, this library has so much to it. It's literally huge, 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 huge. Probably my favorite. Well, I have so many favorites, I can't say that, but these are phrases that are chopped up and recycled. So you could layer this with a bass. If I go down here to the basses, say load into Unify. tune if you tune them up. Go to drums. Then go down to the percussion. There's all these incredible world percussion kits. I sampled like 20 some different percussion instruments. If you go just to the percussion here, there's an ancient bendir. And, you know, instead of the samples where they make 4 notes that play 5,000 samples, which I hate that, these are just single samples across the keyboard. I'll choose what samples I want to play when I want to play them. Thank you very much. Ankle bells, both rhythmically and ankle shells. And then an ankle shells motion. I like that. A big buffalo drum. Cajon. Sorry for the noisy keys. Compact conga, finger simples, jingle bells, maracas, rain sticks, 2 different main sticks, claves, shakers. There's like 7 different shakers, plastic avocados, triangles, sun drums, tambourine, my Taos drum from Santa Fe I bought like 20 years ago. I sampled it. And then Sonny flute. Sonny, I don't know if he's still here, but he played incredible flute phrases. So much stuff. I mean, this library is packed with all sorts of fun things. The BPM splits do all sorts of really, really cool hip hop. Putting everything together, the bells, the drums, the bass, there's vocal chops. BPM synth. It goes everywhere. I mean, keyboard sounds. On and on and on. It goes so many cool places. Right? So it's a wonderful library. One of my favorites. Chorus Station and Discover Station. Let me see if these will play. Let's go to strings, the ensemble short. Let's do spiccato. So this is using the Spitfire Audio's BBC and it's combining all of the separate elements of their orchestra into a map of all of them across the keyboard so you can play. You don't have to make 5 tracks in your DAW to hear all the 5 parts. We have the basses, cellos, viola, violin 2, violin 1 mapped across the keyboard as a patch. And the Chorus Station sounds better than the Discover Station because there's more samples. If we compare, say, if we go strings to the, let's see, I'm saying spiccato, which is here. So here's the Chorus Station. You can play repeatedly the same notes. Let's go to spiccato of Discover Station, and you'll notice there's no round robin anymore. So if you're trying to do real convincing orchestral things, this is hard to convince. If you play bouncy in chords and you play it the right way, you can't really tell. But if you're playing a motif or an ostinato that's like, that's going to drive people nuts very, very quickly. Whereas the chorus station version, strings, spiccato, it sounds like a film score, you know? So you can play the same notes. If you try that with the Discover Station version, let's see, strings, spiccato. It almost can pass. In some cases, maybe it will pass if that's what you have, you know. But it just get more nuanced when you have so many more samples and round robins and all that to work with. But for a $50 string complete orchestra, it's insane how nice this is. And we've done this with the multi-samples across the keyboard for the longs. Right? On top of this, we've done all sorts of combinations of all of the elements, all the strings, the winds, and the brass together. Oh, it's going to take it a minute to load this up. It's going, let me think about this. And I'll probably take us into... It's still loading the samples. Hey, the brass are showing up. They're a little late. Anyway, you get the idea. You can do all these things. Then you get to the BPM stuff. My partner in this library, Jeff Stradling, did some wonderful things where, let's get up here to like the action or something, where it's a complete film cue on the keyboard that you can play and interact with, which is really, really, really cool. Will those strings work with VSL synchronized special edition? I'll begin it this week and would love to know what options I have. Skirit or Secret, right? Secret Squirrel. Ah, I like your name. Very cool. We have not unified that. I don't own the VSL synchronized special edition. I can probably get that from our partners at Ilio, and we can look at it. We have unified for, there comes with this library patches for Discover Station, Core Station, and Pro Station from Spitfire Audio, as well as there's a library for Contact that we have unified the library and adapted it for, but we haven't adapted it for VSL's libraries. It'd be really interesting to see how it sounds with them. Our customers did the conversions to the other libraries. If you want to get this and working soon, Skippy, are you thinking of upgrading your Mac soon? I'm waiting for the Mac Pro, because I work with the Mac Pro Tower. I'm not I have a laptop and I want to upgrade it to an M1 laptop, but yeah. So these are really fun, where it's combining all of these libraries of this. Really cool phrases, string elements, giving you different, each octave. Oh, it's still waiting to load. Right? So all sorts of really cool musical elements. This is using combo box and lots of MIDI box, lots of MIDI filters to limit and ranges and transpose and do all sorts of tricky, fun things that make for it's taking a minute to load. It hasn't gotten the percussion yet. So they take the strings and the orchestra and the brass and the percussion to totally new places with this library. So Discover Station is one of a kind, but it does require you to use the BBC Symphony or the Contact 5. I can't remember, but it's written on the page for Discover Station. You have to make sure that you look in your list under your known plugins when you get to BBC. I went too far. BBC Symphony Orchestra. Where is it at? BBC Symphony Orchestra. See right here how it says VST? You have to use the VST version for this library to work. If it's VST3 or audio unit, then these patches will give you error messages. But once you have it up and running, all sorts of fun things. The BPM strings, all these different adventure things. Great for all sorts of film scoring things that you want to do, or song things as well for right? So Discover Station is super fun. Mega Magic Keys is not out yet. That's coming out in December. Grand Piano, Upright Piano. I'll show you something really quick that I'm really happy with. Felt piano that sounds really lovely. And this is one that's using lots of samples. Audio pooped out for a second there. I don't know what that's about. And that's just one velocity. There's multiple velocities. We do an incredibly, really nice C3 grand piano, as well as retro. I mean, I listen to a lot of chill hip hop stuff, and that piano is just so perfect for that. So that's coming in December. Mega Magic Pads 2 I showed earlier, which is this wonderful pad library where there's multiple elements. There's 4 different pads. And then that's in there. If you go to the multi version, you see here, you can actually turn down the elements and make your own mix. For all these different really beautiful this is made up of here's dry, but the one that's in the actual pad is this. and then B, C, and D. And if you call up the multi, that will map them all out. And if I want, I could turn off 2 elements. Turn this down. Then turn these back on by just hitting the little dots. Beautiful stuff. Noisebox is the second drum loop library that I did in the early 2000s after Skippy's Big Bad Beats. And so this has all of the these grooves. This is one where as you can see, there's a whole lot of components, 12 different grooves to make this, and then there's different mixes. And see, and then all the hats, all the kicks, all the 3 loops. All of this stuff that says Beanstalk went into the top version. It's pretty crazy. Suburbs has all these separate elements, and so you can solo them out. You can use the buttons over here to kill the parts. Right? So drum loops, drum loops. This one has some real drummers. I actually hired a couple drummers, Phil Block and Brian Zupnik, years and years and years ago. I haven't seen them in a long time. But they did drumming that was used in these libraries. So many grooves, silly putty. And all these elements are there. So if you just want the snare parts and these parts, and then let's say we want to have, want this louder, all the elements are there to play with. So it's a really, really fun library. Retrosphere 2 just came out. Retro, just nirvana. You can go boom, and all of a sudden you're into retro heaven, which is lovely. Unit Chill was created by Matthias Sauer, and this is all for chill, and it's, oh my gosh, such a wonderful library if you love chill. And there's BPM ARP, things like this. There's beautiful basses. Beautiful chords. And please watch the walkthrough if you're into this kind of stuff. Yeah, Retrosphere just came out. New library just came out on Friday, and it's on sale for 50% off, 51% off. I'm running a sale at my website. Hear ye. I'm about to wrap up because this is by far the longest live stream I've ever done. But I just want to go through and show everything that's available that I've done. And since 2009, Uniscream is a free library of Halloween sounds. Planet Pluck is a wonderful library created by Frank Newman. There's pulse things, there's I'm not doing a good job showing this off, but it's a beautiful Pluck library. Something seems to have gotten messed up in this, so I'll have to check out why, but that's not right. Seems to be calling up just default blue ARP, so that's probably not the case for you guys because you don't have 1.7, so it's not supposed to be doing that. But anyway, it's all Rhythmic and Plux, and down at the bottom of the list is all the Plux that are really cool. And many of these have many samples. Some have not so many, but some have 4 layers of velocity, all sorts of things. And since it's the newest library, it's at $39, which after Monday night, Retrosphere 2 will go back to being $39 since that's the introductory price for $49 libraries. But right now until Monday night, 51% off everything at the site. Unify is $69. It's on sale, which is very rare. So you can get it and save money on all that stuff. Oh, my head hurts. That's an awful lot of libraries from 2009 to the present. Thanks to Tim Dale, Jason Schopfer, Casey Baldwin, Laurent Veronez, Taylor Harris that just made some new patches. All these people. Oh, well, we got to fix that. Yeah, it shouldn't be doing that on the BPM patches. So I don't know what happened or what I have set, but we'll figure it out, get it working. And hopefully it's not the case for you guys because it shouldn't be that way. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Anyway, shout outs for the 50 some of you remaining. Shout out from Portland, Oregon. We were on fire today. Had to show off all these libraries just so you know what's there. There's so much stuff. They're all different. You know, you see them in the list, and I try to make descriptions of what they are, but here's a chance to see them in person. So there you go. Thank you for watching. I'm going to sign off before we get to the shoutouts, but shout out from Mountain View. Shout out from Camino Island. Good to see you all. Thank you, Secret. Thank you all. Wow from Edinburgh. Yeah, my head hurts. So I think I'm going to go have a nice sandwich from my favorite restaurant here in Portland. So that's good. Shout out from Wales. Right on. Good to see you, Tim. Thank you again for all you've done to the Plugin Guru adventure would not be what it is without you being a part of it. So thank you to all of you. Look at that. Chicago, Columbus, New England. Everybody in Europe's gone to sleep because it's late there for the most part. Yeah, this was a record. Yeah, actually, it started at 12. So it's been 3 hours and 18 minutes. We'll see if it shows up as a fully recorded live stream. But I just wanted to show all the libraries. I've got them all on sale and wanted to show them. So we showed Retrosphere. There's a new... Quadra from Cherry Audio, and then we went through it took 3 hours. Please show Mega Magic pads for contact again, okay? Let's see here, go over here to Plugin Guru Libraries. Mega Magic pads for contact is up here. I don't know, DaVinci, if I have, what I can do is this. I can init, call up contact here, and I have it saved into the quick load. My libraries are not, they don't show up in the libraries tab, like the bigger libraries that you would pay for. I just don't want to pay for the licensing and stuff. So you can go to files to find them on your hard drive, or even better, you just right click and that brings up the quick load. And here's Mega Magic pads. And so I could say, boom, go like this. And here, let's turn off so we don't even see the browser. We don't need to see that. So, simple, you have reverb, EQ, and a filter. With the type of filter, you can go to formants and all sorts of cool things. And then here's all the patches. So we drag up here and say yes. Pianos in the clouds. Three graces. Yes, it hasn't been unified yet, I don't believe. So it's on my list. I have a list of libraries still to unify. I have unified Contacts Del Norte. Wait, let me double check. Let me double check, please. It'll take me just a second. Maybe it has been products, contact. Yeah, I don't think it's been unified yet. Should be. I can definitely get it unified in the coming weeks. Everything will be unified if it's not. It's just a process, you know, to get there. Go back here. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, it's not been unified yet. So that's something we can work on. Wait, do unified libraries not need contact? No, they need contact. If a library says it's for O2, then it needs Omnisphere. The contact libraries need contacts. So Del Norte, Bells and Winds, and Mega Magic Dreams are the three that I have unified for contact, and they require the full version in order to work. Okay, great. I'll have it done before Christmas, I promise. Okay, well, thank you all. Mega Magic Pads does mention Unify as of, oh, it does? Let me see. Oh, well, you might be talking about, let me see, the Mega Magic Pads. Okay, so here's the thing. It does mention it for Omnisphere. If you go O2 Mega Magic Pads, it's right here. It has been unified for the Omnisphere version. I haven't unified it for the contact version. So if you go to the Mega Magic Pads website page, it will say it's been unified, but that requires Omnisphere. I haven't done the unifying of it for contact. So sorry. Yes, remember you have contact customers. I do remember. And very few of you pay for the libraries, and it's mostly torrented. So that's why I don't support them very heavily anymore, but that's what it is. Okay, bless you all. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy wherever you are in the world. Good unity, good unify. The governor, big hug. Thank you to all of you that support the cause. Keep us rocking and rolling. Very much appreciated. All right, we're out of here. Thank you again for staying around, and we'll see you in the